we're committed to helping your business grow and succeed, and we do this in a number of ways, and we've got support packages to help businesses. So we've got support for business development, workforce development and business funding, as well as support for individuals, which is delivered within the team as well. So during this webinar, we'll be discussing funding to help with growing your team, upskilling, improving your digital capabilities and within your business, sustainability within your business and more. I would like to say if you've got any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. Emma will manage that for us. Alternatively, you can ask questions at the end. So firstly, I'd like to just go through some sort of eligibility criteria, and the reason for hosting this webinar today is that this is time limited funding that we've got available at the moment, and this is specifically for projects that your business will have completed and paid for by the end of January 2026. We also, part of the eligibility criteria is that your business must be based in West Lothian, you must have a fair work policy, and you must be a real living wage employer, which is paying your staff at least £12.60 per hour. What I would also like to say, with the majority of grant funds, there's usually match funding with the business, so it requires that sort of investment for the business as well. And also we can't support any projects or investments that have already taken place within the business. It has to be something that's planned within the future and takes place after any potential date on offer letter that you might receive. So firstly, we'll move on to funding that will help to grow your team, and this is called our Employer Recruitment Incentive, and it's been very popular within the local area. It really has helped a number of businesses to recruit, and we work with our employability team. If you've got any issues with finding candidates or creating any sort of job adverts, we help to promote vacancies as well. But this specific support is called ERI, and what that does, it pays 50% on new employee, and this is based on real living wage of £12.60 per hour for a maximum of 40 hours per week, up to 26 weeks. So there is some criteria that you can read on the slide there, and it's also on our Invest in West Lothian website. The slides will be shared at the end of this presentation, so please, you don't need to take a lot of notes. But this support can, depending on how many hours that you have for your employee, can be up to nearly 6.5k. So it is a decent intervention, and it really does help businesses to hire new staff and bridge that gap between the employees starting and then becoming productive within the team. So that's been really useful for local businesses. And so we'll move on to the funding for upskilling within the team. And this is our sort of economic development fund in partnership with West Lothian College. We support the college to deliver this, and this is fully funded up to £5,000 for your business to train and upskill existing employees. And these courses can range from management training, some of them are accredited, some of them aren't, down to things like Excel or things that you feel that your employees could benefit from. A lot of the courses are online as well, which really helps manage this within the team. So that's something where we work with West Lothian College, and then we will signpost you into the college with details of this fund. There's also a catalogue, so you can review the courses which you find might be useful within your business. We've also got an individual training grant, and this is delivered within economic development, and this is for if you're a parent within the West Lothian area. And this can really help as an individual for you to sort of develop your skills to move up within your career. Our employability advisors work on a one-to-one basis with you to help develop a number of areas and marry in the support that we've got to try and bridge any barriers for moving on your career or getting into work. Alongside this, for businesses, we have our expert help programme, and this can be fully or partly funded consultancy support. So within businesses, you might not always have the expertise to deliver certain areas, or you feel that you've got a specific project that you want to, work on, and you need that expert outside that you've not got within the business expert help. So we've got a number of areas on where we can marry in that support in business development, which is strategy, workshops and things that we can work within the business to help you reach your growth objectives, exporting, financial financial support in terms of accountancy services, human resources, marketing, branding and procurement. So there's a range of support there. And then what I would say with all these funds is speak to an advisor. We can help work out where you feel that there's a gap within your business and sort of move that support in to really help you get over any hurdles that you have to reaching your growth aims. So I'd like to pass over to my colleague David, who will take you through some of the digital support that we've got available that businesses have accessed.
So thanks, Lynn. Morning, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Recognise a few names and faces on the call. So I'm going to go over the digital development grant this morning. So as you can see, this grant is to support businesses enhance their digital presence, really. So there's two sides to it, really. So VAT registered businesses can access funding up to £7,500. So that'd be projects 15k, we'd normally fund about 50% of that. So anything less, so if it was 10k, it might be 5k. If it was over that, it's capped at 7.5. So that's the VAT. We don't pay in the VAT, obviously. So if the project was VAT, it's not inclusive of VAT in terms of the grant. And then the sort of smaller businesses that are not VAT registered under that can claim up to £1,000, so projects up to 2k. These projects generally are supporting businesses, as you can see from the list there, investing in new websites. Maybe it's apps, maybe it's IT equipment. It might be to support your cyber essentials. A lot of cyber essentials at the moment, you need to upgrade your IT equipment. So various projects, again, have a chat with us and see. We're more than happy to help and look at the grant to help you and enhance your digital skills. So that's a quick overview of the digital grant. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the cyber security. Yeah, I can go over that. So cyber security, as I'm sure you'll see in the press and news, is a big thing at the moment. A lot of businesses are getting hit with cyber attacks. So we'd certainly look at this, especially if you're obviously dealing online and dealing with clients' data, information, bank details, etc. I think it's important to make sure you get your cyber essentials and your cyber essentials plus in place. So we have a sort of voucher scheme that you can access. So this grant is only for people that are new to it, to be honest. So we don't do upgrades. You have to be for the first time. But if you've not got it in place, then let us know and we can look at supporting you with this up to £1,000 to help you get the cyber security cyber essentials or the cyber essentials plus put in place. So yeah, that's the cyber security grant. I'll pass you back to Lynn.
Thanks, David. That's brilliant. So I would also like to now pass you over to Amanda, who is our sustainability advisor, and she'll take you through the support we've got for businesses who are looking to engage in any sort of net zero or sustainability projects within their business.
Thanks, Lynn, and good morning. A few people that I've probably never met before on this call, and a few names that I definitely recognise. So my name's Amanda and I work in economic development beside my colleagues Lynn and David on this call, with whom are part of the Business Gateway team. And my role is really to work with businesses in West Lothian who are looking to do any kind of project that falls under that sort of banner of net zero, or they're looking to make energy efficiency improvements, and anything to try and help reduce their carbon emissions. So 2 things here to quickly discuss. Lynn mentioned that there's expert help available to West Lothian businesses, and this probably falls under that bracket of it's the energy efficiency audit. So we have sort of consultants on our framework who can sort of work with businesses to map out sort of projects related to net zero. There's also other support from other government agencies where they can tap into like an energy audit, so they will work with you and look at sort of key areas in the business and try and analyse this and put together a potential sort of project plan, and that's a document that you hang on to, and once that audit has sort of been completed, then there's potential that we can maybe support you with some of the projects that have been outlined in the audit, with what was called our low carbon grant, but has very recently been rebranded to be our energy efficiency grant. So I'll just the next slide on that one, please. So sort of energy resilience grant, even I've not got the new name right yet, sorry. So This is a grant of up to like £8,000 for eligible businesses in the area, and it, like we've sort of said, it's any project that is linked to lowering your carbon emissions. So that could be something like upgrading like the lighting in your office to maybe more energy efficient LED lighting. You're maybe looking to pivot into like a sort of more like green business idea. You might be contemplating solar panels or any sort of work associated with that. Like I said, we're really open to having discussions about anything that is going to help lower the sort of the emissions that your business is putting out. We've had some really interesting projects that have came to us recently, so I don't want to put too fine a point on what would be eligible and what wouldn't be. It's just it would be really keen to speak to anyone that's keen to, like I said, work towards net zero. So some criteria we've got here: businesses should be employing 5 staff ideally, been trading for at least a year, or you've got growth potential. But I would just like to make it clear that we can have discussions even if you think you maybe don't quite fit in that criteria. I'd be happy to have a chat with anyone who's maybe thinking they've got a potential idea that could fit under this project. And I think that's all from me.
Thanks so much for that, Amanda. That's brilliant. And I want to reiterate that across all the grants, anything that you feel that you're doing within the business that you feel that you could have support with, or if you're looking for advice, or if there's any sort of funding available, please just reach out to one of the advisors and we'll take you through and be able to work out what's the best options for your business. So alongside some of the things that we've mentioned, we've got an innovation grant. So as sort of innovation is any sort of new product process, sort of anything new within your businesses, taking you to new markets and things. And this grant has been really useful for a number of businesses to sort of develop their ideas and the costs involved with different sort of interventions within the business to move the business forward. So again, this is something that we can sort of help work out, you know, does it fit into this sort of criteria? Is this something that you can support with? So like it says there, the cost of a new project idea, workplace, product or process innovation. It can also be things that, you know, can help you with sort of working out whether that idea is feasible within the business. So the cost involved with that sort of innovation, then this is where this grant would apply. And we've got a project grant, and this is one of our most popular grants as well, because this is sort of a grant that helps a number of businesses improve productivity or, you know, increase capacity within the business. And it's usually used for buying new equipment or something that there's a growth aim within the business and there's a cost associated with that. This is sort of a CapEx grant, capital expenditure within the business that we can help support. And this is for projects up to about 15k, but it doesn't need to be 15k, but the intervention rate's usually about 50%. So for example, if you had a bit of kit that was going to cost 5k, we could potentially come in with 2.5k support. So that really does make it less risky for the business to invest in this new equipment that has potential to improve efficiencies or productivity within the business. Like I say, it's been one of our more popular grants, and it definitely has been useful for a number of businesses. And we've also got a trade development grant. So this grant is for businesses that are looking to move into new market, out with the sort of market that you currently operate in within just now. So it's sort of looking at areas where you need support. So where this has been used in the past is for attendance at trade shows, any sort of cost to go and exhibit with your product or, you know, your business activities, and we can help in a number of areas. And again, like we said before, please just have a chat with us so we can sort of take you through what costs are can be eligible for that. So this is a grant of up to a maximum of about 2k, and it's available to businesses that meet the criteria. And the eligible costs include renting, travel costs, running exhibition space. So basically any cost with you is involved with attending any sort of trade development exhibitions or something within your business. But again, this is open, so please just speak to an advisor and we can try and work through your idea. Well, finally, we've got a shortfront improvement grant scheme, which is delivered within the team as well. And this is for businesses that are looking to have costs where they feel that their shopfront could be you know, given a little refresh, or there's something within the business that like, you know, the premises that they've got that could really be improved. So yeah, this has been popular as well within the local area. If that's something that you're interested in, please just reach out and we'll signpost you to the correct advisor. So that's us sort of run through this. So is there any questions that we've got that's maybe not in the chat, or Emma, do you want to read out any of the questions in the chat that we can potentially help with?
Yeah, thanks, Lynn. So we've got a comment here from Daniel, who's just said that he's been getting quotes for a new website, and they seem to need around 4 months for development. Would the project need to be completed by January 26? So it'd be great if you could just clarify the timelines there, Lynn.
So what, and this is where I would say speak to an advisor, and we'll always double check that against criteria. What I would say is that, you know, the project needs to be invoiced and paid before the end of January, so that we can see that, you know, that we can evidence that at the drawdown stage. So, but what I would also do, this is time limited funding. We don't know what funding or support we're going to have next year. So that's always worthwhile just engaging with us. So even if it's not something, once we've done that sort of eligibility criteria check, that it's not something we can support at the moment, then that's something that we can, you've engaged with us so that we can reach out when we know what support we've got available. And then the next sort of year. What I would also say is that we also look for any sort of projects that you've got. We also do sort of a sort of horizon scan, see if there's anything else available out with the local authority as well, to see what is there. So again, just what the other advisors have said is just please reach out. We're happy to have a one-to-one call to map out your plans, and we can discuss what, you know, in terms of payment, or, you know, when you think the project's going to be finished, if this grant can be eligible or not.
Thank you. We've also had a message here from Katie, who's asked if you could give some examples of the project grant, please.
So an example of a project grant is a sort of recently has been a CNC machine that someone wanted to buy, and that would meant that they could, you know, the throughput for the process that they were looking to work on there was able to increase, so we could evidence sort of increase in sort of productivity, scalability within the business. Another sort of example is sort of cost within the business that is going to, you know, changes within the premises or cost involved with that that's going to potentially create capacity that you can then achieve your growth objectives. So it's mostly around things of that you have to buy something that's going to create improvement within your business. So you're going to have to invest in sort of, like I say, a bit of kit or something within the business that's going to help reach your growth aims.
Thanks, Lynn. We've got a question here from Adiola saying, is there opportunity for funding for renting a premises and setting up?
If you're sort of a sort of new start business, this is where we would signpost you to our startup advisors, and they'll take you through that process and what's available, and what sort of would be available. I would, in personal experience, I've not seen any sort of support that's available for renting in terms of that cost, but there is sort of support in terms of a general advice and things that we can do to help, you know, guide you through that process with taking on new premises. And that's where the support isn't always just financial access to that sort of knowledge that, you know, advisors have done over a number of years and years of experience of taking them through that start-up process of renting premises and, you know, rent-free periods and things you can do to negotiate and make sure that you're covered in the best way possible. And that's where I would say that sort of partial advice that we're able to give is invaluable to businesses as well. So it's not always about what funding is available, but they definitely will signpost you into areas where if there is support, or if you need business funding that's external, you know, it's not always grant funding, but if you need sort of funds within the business, they signpost you to different areas where there is funds for startup businesses or established businesses that are looking to grow as well.
Perfect. And Adiola also asked about how to get connected to an advisor. So I think we've actually got a slide coming up with the contact details there as well. But we've also had a message here from Katie saying, is the cybersecurity certificate a requirement for all businesses?
I don't think it's a requirement for all businesses to have, but it's definitely a really good thing for businesses to have. There's so many risks with not being cyber secure, and that can be in the way of fines, you know, risks for your business in terms of your reputation, you know, of not being able to, you know, hold personal data in the way it should be, and obviously cyber attacks that can have downtime effects on the business as well. So it's definitely something that does that audit within your business to say where are the gaps and where can I quickly close them. So that is something that, you know, is really useful in the business. And sometimes a business can say, you know, we're just not cyber secure, the platforms we've got aren't up to date. And that's where sometimes then it marries in with our digital grant, where you can say, well, really, I need to do a sort of investment here to upgrade our system so that we are secure and we are sort of covered, and you've reduced that risk. And that's where some businesses have come back to us after doing this and doing a little bit of a gap analysis and access their digital support to help them, you know, make sure that they are more secure and able to make sure they're delivering the best possible service for their customers.
And just following on from that question, Lynn, Katie's asked, does it apply if you don't have a website? The cybersecurity grant, is it for, but is it specifically related to business websites or everything? Can you clarify?
It's everything. When you're dealing with this, I think you realise even in your personal day-to-day, everything is online, everything you're doing. And, you know, as a business, if you're dealing with customers, you know, and you've got to hold data, everything that you're dealing with has that risk of cybersecurity. Just because you've not got a website, you probably have some sort of digital platform that you're using, or, you know, some way that you're keeping, you know, data or business critical information. And that's something that, you know, it doesn't need to just be a website that you can be targeted in any way. And that's where, you know, that audit really will help you see that as a big picture on where, you know, as a business, holistically, where can that risk come from? And it has been really useful for a number of businesses, small and large scale businesses, that have had to do that sort of work to make sure that they're secure.
Perfect, thank you, Lynn. I think that's all of the questions at the moment.
Thanks,
I
Emma,
will
that's
be, as
brilliant.
Lynn says, I'll also be sending out a copy of the slides. So if anyone thinks of any other questions, please feel free just to respond and I can connect you with an advisor.
Thank you so much, Emma. So what we've also got, and this is really useful for businesses as well, is a lot of the events that we run are free and really useful for businesses. So we've got events that we run just specifically to West Lothian businesses, but there's also Business Gateway national events that cover a number of business functions that businesses can upskill. You know, a lot of these are now on webinars, so you can do these. So it's easier as a business to sort of attend these events as well. So some of our events that we've got coming recently is our into global markets. So businesses that are looking to move and export or import, or, you know, that's something that we that, you know, has proved popular. So that's happening on Thursday. So it's pretty soon. We've got sustainability and procurement. So that's a really useful for businesses looking to, you know, access any contracts, but especially within the sustainability area. Mastering Canva for creative marketing, a very popular course, and it's a really good way for businesses to, you know, start to create that sort of brand and work with Canva to be able to develop that within the business. We've got our Women into Entrepreneurship programme, which is 4 weekly sessions beginning on Wednesday, the 5th of November. We've run this programme a number of times, and it is really popular, and it really does help, you know, women who are looking to move into business sort of do that in a really efficient, a really good way to learn and move into that area. And then we've got finance for the non-financial, and this is really good for businesses that are really, you know, would like a better understanding of their sort of accounts, their management accounts and year-end accounts. It really does take through, I've sat in this course myself, it really does take you through and gives you that sort of financial view of your business to see where the financial position of the business and how to help grow your business. So that's been a really useful course for a number of businesses. And so, like someone asked before, the way to contact us is mostly through our Invest in West Lothian website. So the details are up there. And then what then happens is there's a little bit of triage where we look at what your sort of needs are, and then we pass you over to the advisor that best suits what your requirements are. So that's the best way. And you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and use that little QR code. Is great to be able to do that. So again, thank you for attending. It's been lovely to meet you all. And again, if anyone's got any questions that they want to ask me at the moment, please feel free.